fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my God!
Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
It's the final chapter of the season. We head to the mountain, Mount Panorama Bathurst, for the final round of the Ozicar Formula Skip Barber Series. And what a championship round we've got on hand for us. The drivers are currently in the last stages of qualifying for race 1. And we will have our championship decider done over 2 races tonight. First race of 6 laps, second race of 10 laps. Of what will be absolutely fantastic battling and drafting action around the mountain. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me is Nick Skrayev. Nick, it's going to be a very, very fun night at Bathurst. We always have great racing here. What are you looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, this is almost the, you could say, the spiritual home of kind of any kind of racing series that we've got here on iRacing. It's always great to see Bathurst at the end. But yeah, as you were saying, so much action, especially with the Skip Barbers, using that draft and the slippery radial tyres. We're just having a look here on the overall map here in New South Wales, Bathurst. Well, I think it'd be a couple more than an hour, a couple more than a few hours out of Sydney. Catch a train there. Just zooming in on the map now.
Yeah, around about 3 and a bit hours out of Sydney over the Blue Mountains to get to the Mount Panorama Circuit, which was opened at Easter in 1938 as a scenic drive. Conveniently, it was built as a scenic drive as part of the Great Depression recovery package. So that's how the mountain became Mount Panorama, part of that funding. And we always say that a track is always very, very good. When you don't know it by corner number, you know it by corner name. Anytime you see a track that's just named corners, you know that it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's right. It's almost keeping the Australiana on giving everything those corner names. And talking corners, of course, we do have the Chase being corner 21 and 22 there. So it was a little bit shorter up until, I think it was somewhere in the 80s.
Yeah, 1987.
1987, the year I was born. They, took the Chase out. Sorry, they added it in. Took the super long straight out. So
yep.
Was added
in as part of the World Touring Car Championship that we hosted at Mount Panorama in that year. Time for the starting grid for tonight. Alex McKellar has taken pole for race 1 with Russell Clark alongside. Ben Snell in 3rd, Alex John in 4th position with James Chastanoff in 5th. Very, very familiar top 5 there. Daniel Hederscheid will start this first race from 6. I just realised that that's the practice results. Let's try again. Russell Clark's got pole position. When it updates, there we go. James Chastanoff in 2nd, Alex McKellar 3rd, Alex John 4th, Ben Snell 5th, Daniel Hederscheid 6th position. Same 6, just in a different order. Then we got Scott Barton and Dennis Hancock, Justin Howe, Tim Cornt, Jason Fewens, Braden Martin. Then over to position 13 for Sean Doyle. Jeremy Bush will start alongside him. Isaac Summers and Stafford Marsland on the 8th row. Then we got 17th and 18th will be Simon Dobner and Peter Wilkinson. Ira Felberg and Dean Russell next, with Nathan Verney, Darren Lassou and Cameron Cousins, the last of our drivers out on track for tonight. We'll quickly, very, very quickly, while the drivers are getting onto the grid, have a look at the championship standings. Ben Snell's championship to lose at this point. He has got a fairly substantial margin. It's going to be very, very tough for anyone to get that back, but it could happen if Ben Snell has a DNF.
Yeah, that's right. We've got these really narrow walls here at Bathurst, so absolutely anything can happen. We have seen some pretty strong results from Alex McKellar, in particular in the last round as well. Alex McKellar sitting in 3rd and Ben Snell there in 5th, so Ben Snell with a little bit more work to do for that defence.
So it's time to get this race underway. Everyone on the grid except for Darren Lassou and Cameron Cousins. Cameron Cousins gets on the grid. Darren Lassou might miss the start here as we get ready to go racing. Green flag flies and we are underway for 6 laps of racing. And very, very good jump from the front few, all in a single file fairly quickly, and it looks fairly almost pedestrian, but the pace in these cars does take a little bit to get up. Now that they're on Mountain Straight, they will get up to speed rather quickly.
Yeah, we almost see the Skip Barbers, they almost end in a crescendo, I guess, as those tyres really warm up and the speeds increase. Will take a little while and you'll see, already on the first corner there, James Chastanoff not wanting to sit around there at all, putting it up the inside there of Russell Clark. Thankfully, his cars are quite small, so plenty of room either side of those two.
Exactly right. It's very, very fortunate these cars are quite wide, and it does look like Chestnut with that move has actually lost a spot there to Alex McCallum, who's gone through. Probably going to see these front 6 almost work together and break into their own little group. Everyone has made it up the mountain nice and safely, which is great to see. Had 21 of our 23 cars actually take to the start.
Yeah, just seeing them slip and sliding there over those crests, coming through the chase. Oh, sorry, through McPhillamy Park here at the top. It's always a little bit of destruction here through the dipper, but everyone playing it nice and safe. Just as I say that, it was a Simfinity car. I think that might have been Scott Barton, perhaps, or
yep.
Yeah, it was Scott Barton. So just shuffle down the order there. They cannot take too much damage there as Scott clips Boris Elbow there on the way out. Yeah, unlike the touring cars, you really can't run them too close up against those walls. We've seen Peter Wilkinson there, I think, potentially maybe having a moment there on the top of the mountain.
Yeah, Peter Wilkinson did hit the wall there. It was at the dipper as McCullers used the draft to take the lead as they're almost 3 wide into the chase. And Chastanov through as well on Russell Clark. So change of position at the front. The front 6 have broken away. Fairly substantial gap at the front. So they are starting to put a little bit of hurt on the drivers behind. Already a 2.5 second margin between Heddershide in 6th position. And this battle here led up by Dennis Hancock in position number 7 as Chastanov tries to get back into the lead. I thought he was going in way too hot there, but he's managed to pull it up quite well.
Yeah, we do find we will see a lot of the cars coming up Mountain Straight, just that chopping and changing of positions. So maybe a little bit different to those touring car races where the first wheel coming up Mountain Straight will generally be the most favourite coming back down the mountain. Yeah, with these Skip Barbers, you usually find that first wheel might not always be there. But we've got Alex McKellar there. Chastanoff still wanting to take that first place there at the moment there, but we've also got Alex John and Ben Snell there just in behind them.
Also seen Darren Lassou and Cameron Cousins make their way out onto the circuit. They have gone a lap down, but they have made it out onto the track, which is great to see. So back up to our 23. Of course, starting the race means that they will get championship points. Championship is very, very tight from every position other than P1 and P2, but every other position is very, very close. So every point is going to be very helpful in that aspect tonight, as Chastanov having a look up the inside at McPhillamy Park. He do not make moves there, but he's almost made it stick.
Yeah, and that's actually hung himself out there a little bit. They're just going to have to shuffle back in a single file coming down the mountain. They really can't go too wide. Awesome shot there. Going through the dipper, you can see that weight transfer there of these little open wheelers. So we're going to have Alex McKellar there. He's going to be first wheel, but that's going to a slight brake lock up there, but holding it in tight. Chastanoff using absolutely all the road there, so he's going to be able to get that draft there on McKellar. Currently about half a second back there, so you'll see he'll pull in about probably around another 3/10 here. Just seeing Alex John there wanting a piece of the action.
Close up right at the point of turn in here at the chase. So side by side go the teammates. Alex John is the lead Alex now. as well as the leader. And Chastanuff's going to get through, so Alex McKellar's gone from an okay margin coming out of Forest Elbow to defending for third position, and you could lose another one here because the outside can work around Murray's Corner in these cars. Not at this stage, it's a little bit early in the race, but last lap we might see around the outside moves actually work.
Yeah, we're seeing really shows the experience there of Chastanoff. He's driving really aggressive, but still giving that room there. They really can't get too close to each other and bang wheels there. I think that's potentially, I think that was Russell Clark there going a little bit wide, so he's going to yield that position there to Daniel Hedershod. And just in the background there, I think that might be Dennis Hancock and Justin Howe there, so a bit of a 2x2 drag race up the mountain.
Lead is on again. Chastanuff goes through. Howe gets through on Sean Doyle. I'm sorry, Sean Doyle and Scott Barton there, but Hancock holding on from Justin Howe as the front still goes side by side for the next group, and then this group here as well. Braden Martin, Jason Fewens, Tim Corn, Jeremy Bush, all in a very, very tight gaggle of cars too, as someone just scraped the wall. But everyone's made it through. I'm very, very impressed with how clean this race has been tonight. Something we do see in this series is very, very clean racing. Not too often we see really nasty mistakes or nasty issues. We did see a couple last week at Monza, but in saying that, they weren't as bad as we've seen in other series or in other rounds of this championship.
Yeah, it's a real culture that the series creator, Ira Feldberg, has really managed to hone in, and a real gentleman's league, you can almost say. Everyone's quite respectfully of each other, and as well a big like return rate. So a lot of these drivers, a lot of these names you can recognise from that first and second series when they started the Skip Barbers, and some of the other series as well that they were running under the Ozicar flag, like the touring cars and the Vert supercars as well.
Yep, 100%. There's Scott Barton now, position 10. He is in the draft of the leader. They've got 10 cars fighting for the lead of the race right now as we're about to hit the halfway point of race 1 of the night. Alex John holds on to the lead, so he had enough of a margin out of Forest Elbow as Chastanuff and John both use all of the track and more. Alex McKellar takes the advantage there and will slot into second position. Ben Snell will also start to push his way forward for the first time in this one. He's going to hold Chastanuff a little bit wide, but as I said before, the outside can work around Murray's Corner in these cars.
Yeah, that's right. The real low aerodynamic and those radial tyres and the slower speeds. We're seeing Chastanuff, he will have to yield there, but he's going to be in prime position coming back up the mountain. But now his mirror is going to be full of Daniel Hedershod. Hedershod having a really good run here. It's a really stacked field, and yeah, some of these names we've seen come and stick around, much like Dennis Hancock, Russell Clark. Hedershod was there at the very start as well. What a series there. Oh, Chastanuff can really show how much action that we've got in these Skip Barbers, because yeah, Chastanuff fighting for the lead only a lap or so ago, so he's just getting shuffled down the order at the moment. He doesn't want to drop too far back. Will make it really difficult to try and claim it back to the front there at the two Alexes of Alex John and Alex McKellar.
You can see too the difference that not having draft around this circuit makes in these cars. You've got the two groups, a group of 10 at the front, group of 4 here for 11th on back, Martin, Fewens, Corn and Bush. Then you've got Isaac Summers all on his lonesome, and he is just dropping bulk time back through the field. He's back into 15th position, but he's lost already a second just on this lap alone going up the mountain. So it is very, very painful when you do lose that draft. And speaking of losing draft, the front three may have broken the draft to Chastanuff back with that side-by-side that they were doing through the cutting.
Yeah, that's right. So you'd be a bit nervous there being James Chastanuff there, and not only is he trying to look in front there, but you can see that train of 4 in there behind. So you could almost say, yeah, the magical mark there is about that 1.5 2 seconds there. So Chastanuff's right on the edge of dropping off that lead group. You can kind of visually see that gap there as we see. Oh, really good there, bringing it back there. I think that might have been contact between a little bit further back. There might have been Scott Barton there on.
I think it was it was Heddershide and Russell Clark. And Justin Howe's been hit, and then he's hit Dennis Hancock through no fault of his own. And that just got messy all of a sudden, very, very quickly.
Yeah, good work to Justin Howe, though, getting right off that racing line there. It's almost a blind crest there. You're not really looking in that direction as you come around that left-hander in the kink. We're going to cut to a VRS replay.
It was just ahead of him there. We'll try and come back to it. It was Heddershide and Russell Clark making contact together. Scott Barton's also come into the pits here, but this is Justin Howe just interlocking wheels with Dennis Hancock. I wonder if Scott Barton's had to come into the pits there. And Dennis Hancock has ended up the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, super unlucky there. Hopefully it wasn't in a motion rig or anything.
No, sorry, it was Sean Doyle.
Yeah, I thought that might have been Sean, but yeah, gee, not much left there of Sean Doyle's car there. An absolute pinball. Really unfortunate there for Scott Barton as well, having a really good run there. So
it started with Howe off the circuit coming into the chase, and then he's just gone up the inside, and I don't think Heddershide even realised he was coming. So unfortunate there. Go back a little bit further, because this is the trigger point that started it all. Daniel Heddershide side by side coming out here. So you see Russell Clark move over, and at the same point Heddershide wants to go as well, but Clark had already created that overlap.
Yeah, so just super unlucky there. He might not even got it called out there on the spotter, because Clark was just had that ever so slight overlap at the front. So you can see those chain reactions, but that gap now, Snell to Chastanoff, is extended well over 2 seconds now. So that definitely has broken that draft advantage. So it's going to be a 3-horse race here. And
it's broken up that secondary pack too. Sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, it's broken up that secondary pack too. So behind Heddershide, Hancock, Martin, Summers, Marsland, Russell, Dobner, they're all separate as well. So Ira Felberg back in 13th.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I was just about to say as well, so Ben Snell, definitely where he wants to be right now. He's got the championship, or one hand on the trophy at the moment there. So he's got both Alex John and Alex McKellar like right in his sights. And I was going to say he could just sit in now, but it is the final lap, so one more to go around. You'd have to say it'd be the safe bet that he's just going to sit through and get that third position, but you never know. It could be really lining him up there. There's only half a second that separates these three.
He doesn't usually race that way though, does he? He usually tries to fight for the win, and he's disappointed when he doesn't pick it up. So we'll no doubt see him fighting right at the end. I think the disadvantage he's got is he's got two teammates that are going to work together to make sure that he finishes in third. In the background, his teammate of Russell Clark trying to get past James Chastanoff, who's defending quite aggressively up through turn 2, up through Griffin's Bend, and coming up towards the cutting.
We've seen such strong racing between these two of Russell Clark and James Chastanoff throughout this whole season. Russell, an absolute menace there in qualifying here. We have seen him get a pole a few times there, but yeah, we're just on board now with Ben Snell. You can see you could almost guarantee the two Alexes are going to go side by side down Conrad Straight with, so Ben Snell might have to get a little bit crafty there if he's going to try and take the win.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to make it 3 wide to try and get through, isn't he? There's no way that he's going to just be easily let on by these two. The draft won't be in his favour by the end of it, because he will have to be alongside at the end of the chase, or at the entrance to the chase I should say, but he will have draft the whole way down. These two will probably, as you said, go side by side, which will mean that the draft will not be as strong. But here's the run. Has McKellar got enough of an advantage? It's 4/10 between he and Alex John, as they're already side by side, and Ben Snell still 3/10 back. But he's closing in so quick. He's already nearly 10 kilometres an hour faster before they reach the peak of the crown in the road, and he's already through. Ben Snell into the lead before they even reach the turn in at the chase. Is this the end of it for the two behind? That being McCullough and John. Oh no, he's overcooked it. Or was there contact? McCullough's gone off as well.
I do believe there was an ever so slight tap there. I think they might have got also a slowdown there, and we'll see Russell Clark and James Chastanoff right there on the back of Alex McCullough. Oh.
Alex John picks up the win. Unexpected on the run down Conrad. But he does pick up the win. Ben Snell does hold on for second. Alex McCullough in third. Russell Clark fourth. James Chastanoff in fifth. As Jeremy Bush has gone off the circuit at the chase as well. Well, what a race that ended up being. Heddershide's finished in 6th position. Hancock in 7th. But that turned into a bizarre one. We'll just have to wait and see with the drivers completing the race. If they have all crossed the line without... or if they have completed their slowdown penalties. Just noticing Jason Fewens limping to the line as well. Missing his rear wing.
Yeah, a few battered and bruised there. Oh, he's picked up a little bit of speed now, so he's going to be able to get through. He'll be able to get through there and cross the line. Not too bad of attrition rate. I think there was about 5 or 6, or 6 drivers there, more than a lap down. So might be in for a bit more luck there in race number 2.
So we will get our race results up on screen in just a moment. And I click the right button. There are too many buttons on these new overlays. Makes things a little bit more difficult, but there we go. There they are. So John does pick up the win. That was not in doubt, but Ben Snell and Alex McCullough did clear those slowdown penalties before they got to the start-finish line, so they do complete the podium. Russell Clark in 4th position. 5th goes to Chastanoff. Then Heddershide, Hancock, Martin, Summers, and Dean Russell rounding out the top 10. Good finish in the end for Dean Russell, and just shows that this track is as much about keeping out of trouble as it is having good pace. Stafford Marsland in 11th position. Simon Dobner in 12th. Then Ira Felberg, Nathan Verney, Peter Wilkinson, Jeremy Bush, Jason Fewens, Darren Lassou, and then the drivers that were all involved in that incident. Unfortunately, Scott Barton, Justin Howe, and we've got Tim Corn, Sean Doyle, and then Cameron Cousins did not finish the race in the end, unfortunately. Had issues early on. That's race 1 done. We'll be back very, very soon. Race number 2 coming up. We'll do it all again. But let's add a little bit more time on the clock. We'll do it for an extra 4 laps.
Yeah, so we're using the VRS Direct Force Pro this year. We have a wheel adapter right here, so I'm using the rim I used last year. But the motor right here produces a lot of power, a lot of precision, and it helps me, just feel the car more, feel the car a lot quicker. Especially, this week we're at Sonoma. I can feel it, when it hits the curbs. Any little change in the car, the wheel reacts a lot quicker than your typical gear-driven or belt-driven wheel. For example, if you're on oval and the rear tires break loose, force feedback on it corrects a lot quicker than your typical wheels. There's no resistance pretty much as far as being able to make quick corrections on the wheel. So all that, paired with how precise the wheel itself is, it makes it to where it helps you as a driver, to find that extra hundredth or thousandths of a second. So when you're getting a direct drive wheel, especially the VRS wheel, it's heavy duty. It's got good weight to it, it's not a plastic toy. It feels like you can really beat up on it. A lot of people have issues with their plastic gear-driven wheels just kind of breaking after a couple years. This thing just feels like it can go forever. The forces are really strong where if you might have to let go of the wheel if you get into the wall. You can adjust all that with the settings on it and stuff, but the wheel itself doesn't play around. It's got way more strength than you could ever need, and that's what makes it good, that you can adjust that down to whatever the car needs. So initially you'll be able to get the controller box and the motor together, and eventually you will be able to add a rim onto that option. They'll also be including a button plate on it to put on the rim to have all sorts of different buttons and functionality. Also, pedals are coming, so that's a pretty big deal as well. Hasn't been covered too much, but the goal is to also have pedals to go along with the Direct Force Pro. So that's pretty exciting. The wheel feels good. It feels very much like a real world steering wheel. You just kind of feel like what you would imagine the car to feel like. A real steering wheel in a car It's very smooth, it's very direct, very quick, and that's what this wheel feels like.
There's a story on this island. History lives here. If you listen closely, you can still hear the echo of a Dino, smell the petrol of a Carrera, feel the grace of an LP. In those days, lives were lost and fortunes were won in the blink of an eye. It's no longer that simple in today's world. But on an island, it's almost as if time stands still. Honoring the past by racing into the future. Motorsport, it's in our DNA.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's covering the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Welcome back to Mount Panorama and the final round of Season 6 of the Ozicar Formula Skip Barber Series. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me, Nick Scrayev. Nick, we saw an absolutely brilliant race in Race 1, but it's ended in a little bit of controversy because there may, we're not 100% sure, may have been a little bit of contact involved in that incident at the end.
Yeah, we did see. I think it might have been Ben Snell there with an Alex train there in the back. We knew it was going to boil up. Just going to cut to the replay now. We knew it was going to boil up into a bit of a crescendo. We saw when Ben Snell went around the outside, he was almost in the grass there, but you can see a little bit of space between the two. Ben Snell very quick there. You can see they're covering off the middle of the circuit there, and yeah, pretty much sitting the car right in the center there. But yeah, you can just see that little bit of contact there. You could the rear end of the car being unloaded there with all the weight over the front. So only needed the smallest amount of encouragement. It's just slid him out ever so slightly there. So
Yeah,
is it a racing incident? Not too sure.
Yep, another one of those. Another one of those ones where we're happy to be sitting on this side rather than, or you sometimes do sit in the race control seat for this series. So another one of those ones that are happy sitting on this side rather than on the other side. But we get ready for race number 2 for tonight. And a few drivers have already taken to the circuit to get warmed up, ready for race number 2. We will have all 23 drivers returning for race 2 as well, which is good to see. We always like it when everyone comes back for the second race. Sometimes doesn't always happen. We sometimes have drivers that unfortunately can't make it back in for race number 2, but tonight we've got everyone back out on the circuit. So we'll pick up a few different drivers that we don't normally get to focus too much time on in the racing. We'll focus on them a little bit more during qualifying. There's Sean Doyle. We'll focus on him for a little bit. He was ultra unlucky in that race just there.
Yes, seems to be bad luck seems to follow Sean Doyle around. I think he
100%.
between himself and myself there on Monday nights there. Yeah, luck wasn't on his side that time there.
Yeah, he was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. We called the wrong person too, because I think we both thought it was Dennis Hancock, but it definitely wasn't. It was Sean, unfortunately. So he has ended up with a little bit of bad luck on his side tonight, but he will push on and try and get himself further forward in this race.
Yes, such a bumper field too as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see so many names kind of mentioning before. So many people returning season on season, wanting to do it. And then yeah, always a few new people in the mix there as well. So
Yep, Sean, one of those that returned pretty much every season. He's been out on track, whether it's been in this or in the TCR as well, when we were running that as well. So it's been great having Sean as part of the series as they've gone on. Russell Clark as well, and Alex McCullough joining back in this season. He did race a couple of races a few seasons ago. I must say that it's been a pretty good season for beards as well, because Sean Doyle's got a pretty good beard. Ben Snell, what a beard he's got on him.
Ira Felberg, he's all beard.
Yep, yep. Lots of beard going on.
It is good in motorsport when you do see a good beard, because you know that they've got a fair idea on what they're doing.
At least if you don't know what you're doing, you at least make it look like you know what you're doing. I've been doing that for 9 years, and it's something I've paid off. So let's see what this lap is. We're going to be looking around about 2 minute 33, 2 minute 34 lap times without draft. And they will get likely 2 flying laps of this Mount Panorama Racing circuit. Run up to turn 1, Hell Corner. Not called Hell Corner because it's hell. Actually named after a man that I believe used to run off and hit a signpost or something on the outside of the circuit. So it was named in his honour, Mr. Hell.
I believe it was Gary Hell.
There you go.
I'm making that up.
Okay. Then we got that. Griffin's Bend, which is named after the former mayor of Bathurst. Mr. Griffin, I don't know his first name.
Not Peter Griffin.
No, not the guy from Family Guy. Then we're up to the cutting, which is pretty self-explanatory when you look at the run up there, why it's called the cutting, because it literally is cut away up past the old quarry off on the left-hand side. It's a Sylvan Park, Reed Park. And of course, the corner that's probably got the newest name out of all of them, because we now call this Metal Grate. It never used to be called Metal Grate. It was Reed Park, but named after the camping grounds. But now, pretty much always called Metal Grate through McPhillamy Park, another former mayor of Bathurst. And the run down the S's through Brock Skyline.
Yeah, you can just see that elevation change there. And seeing in the dipper, you can't even really see the apex of the corner. You're almost guessing as you go through there. And this is such a fast little section here. Across the top, the car can come really, really light there in the rear. You're going to Forest Elbow. What was that named after?
No, it was named after Mr. Forest. It's not called Elbow because of the shape of the corner. It's because of the name, well, not because of the forest either. It's named after Mr. Forest because it's the gold mine just off on the side there too. As you come out on your right-hand side, and on the left-hand side as you come out there, it was the Light Car Club as you come up to the chase. Put in as a safety measure for the 1987 World Touring Car Round, which was the Bathurst 1000, because the FIA said that the track was too fast in the approach up to the final corner at Murray's Corner. So they put in what technically is a chicane. It's not really a chicane, but I mean, on a technicality it is, because it does slow the cars down and it has made the circuit safer, but it's still pretty quick as Doyle crosses the line. 2:33.0.
Seeing a few of those laps being populated now there with Russell Clark there. Overall fastest. Wasn't too sure if it was something that they figured out from iRacing, but I've always had a question. When did the jump come about?
The jump at the chase there, just put in because of the way that the corner was scanned, or the way the sand trap was scanned. It's actually got a little mount where the sand is, and just the sand texture within iRacing's made it into a little bit of a jump. So purely an iRacing thing. The jump at the chase. Isaac Summers slots into position number 10.
I think it was also a major feature of Max Band's number 8.
Sure was. It was the feature of Max
Yeah.
Band's 8.
Yeah,
Stafford Marsland.
It was a key part of Max Band's 8 there. But Stafford Marsland had a pretty quiet race there in race 1, doing really well there to position. Had some pretty strong drivers there behind of Ira Felberg. Also we had I think Nathan Verney as well. Nathan Verney slipping down the order a little bit. So
And
started.
Marsland got flat tyres there. That front right looks like it's flat. There's something not quite right with his car. Jeremy Bush is on a flyer. We'll go to him. Definitely was something not quite right with Marsland's car there.
Yeah, it was a very neat party trick where he managed to have all the wheels stay completely still there. Jeremy Bush coming from Hobart in Tasmania would be freezing cold there. I imagine he's got the heater cranked.
They love it down there, though, don't they?
The
Tasmanians, they love the cold. It's like they've t-shirt and shorts weather at the moment for them.
Yeah, my folks are there at the moment, but it did. I think what was it? I think it was either Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. It snowed there at sea level.
Yeah, no thanks. Give me a hot summer's day any day. Tim Corn will come across the line to finish his final lap of this run. He'll be the first driver to complete his final lap. Front best of a 35.0, and he takes a full second off. It goes into position number 10. We're meant to get a lot of drivers come across the line. Dean Russell hasn't posted an official lap time yet. 34.5 was his last lap, but it did not count. He's cut the corner somewhere. 33.9, that'll slot him in somewhere as Clark goes to P1. Russell goes 11th.
Yeah, and we just saw McKellar coming back there. Peter Wilkinson, sorry there. Not the fastest way around the corner there. It's almost came in through there a bit backwards. But there we go. Justin Howe coming back from an incident there in race 1.
Yeah, he'll be looking for a bit of redemption. Didn't improve on that lap. As Isaac Summers crosses the line, sits in 15th on a improvement there. 34.2 was his best lap. We still have 0.4 of Jeremy Bush out on track. See if he actually gets his lap time in. He's going to be pretty close. Pretty much going to get to exactly the end of the lap before his time is... or before he crosses the line. So it's pretty much going to be, what, 2 or 3 seconds left on the clock if he gets a decent time in.
Who else have we had? So haven't seen a lap there from Peter Wilkinson. Cameron Cousins as well. Not
Scott
seeing
Barton.
a lap. Yeah, and we saw that issue there with Stafford Marsland. Darren LeSue also not getting a lap there. So not too sure what's going on there. A lot of technical difficulties maybe because we've only had 17 cars there register a lap. So you could make up quite a bit of ground there, just at least getting one run up there on the board. So we're going to see Jeremy Bush come across the line. He's got 17 seconds left, so he's going to be in pretty safe here.
Yep, he will safely cross the line, but what time will it be? 33.1. That will slot him into position number 10. Puts himself right in the middle of the field as qualifying is run, done, and all over. With checkered flag now out, and we will get the starting grid up in just a second because there we go. McKellar and Clark the front row, Snell and John and Chastanoof in 5th. We don't have Hederscheid in that top 6 this time. That's Justin Howe taking that position for this race. And we've got Sean Doyle, and there's Hederscheid in 8th position. Dennis Hancock in 9th. Jeremy Bush will start from position number 10. Nathan Verney and Braden Martin in 11th and 12th, the teammates side by side. We've got Jason Fewens, Dean Russell, Tim Corn, Isaac Summers, Ira Felberg, Simon Dobner. These are the drivers at the back here that did not post times. That's Scott Barton, Peter Wilkinson, Stafford Marsland, Darren LeSue, Cameron Cousins, and that is all of the drivers.
Beautiful. So it'll be 23 taking the grid.
Yep, 23 car field for this race. Big thank you to our series sponsors as well. Prestige Trophy badges and engraving, and also Simfinity. Been supporters of the series for a long time now, so great to have them stick around for so long. Big thank you to them for their support of this series, and we love what they do for the community as well, and those trophies that the guys get for this series are pretty cool.
Yeah, we've seen a few promotions. I think it was, wasn't last season, the season before, a few giveaways and stuff with Simfinity partnering up for that. So always plenty on offer. Yeah, it really keeps the guys there on their toes.
Exactly right. It's been great to have them as part of it with that support going on. As everyone is taken to the grid, we're just waiting for the clock to hit 0. We've got 5 seconds left, and no doubt we will see more of the same. Here we go. Revs her eyes, green flag flies, and a very, very even jump at the front. A little bit of a sluggish start there for Sean Doyle. He's going to be rounded up side by side with Hedderscheid, and Hedderscheid's got a much better launch. Everyone has got away cleanly at the front, except for the 53 of Stafford Marsland, who's found himself on the inside. He looks like he's going to be away from there okay at the front of the field. Everyone else, though, nice and controlled, clean start.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there for Stafford Marsland. He actually qualified quite well there up the order, but we're just seeing, I think that was Sean Doyle there, back up the inside there of Hedderscheid. So both of them quite a lot of work to do to get back up onto this lead group. They just see Justin Howe that little bit better second or so there between them.
Yes, that was Hancock getting through. So Doyle's dropped 2 spots. Hancock's gained the 2 spots that Sean Doyle has lost at the start. But other than that, most of the field have got away and staying in their order from the start of the race. Yeah, interesting what the guys do here for pit stops. We know that pitting early had been the norm, but we're starting to see a little bit of a shift away from that again, where drivers are maybe pitting on lap 2, lap 3, and then the alternate of that is pitting with 2 or 3 to go, rather than doing it right at the start or right at the end.
Yeah, that's right, and trying to really work out where you want the tyres warm and where you want them cold. They're talking about cold tyres there.
Oh, no.
And we've just seen, I think it was Isaac Summers there, possibly Scott Barton as well. I think that was another one of the...
Oh, we've had another issue as well. We've had 2 crashes here, so we're going to get a replay. Isaac Summers was involved. We'll see if we can pick up what actually happened at the Dipper. Dipper first, so around, I think it's Horns. No, sorry, it was Russell was the car involved. And then 04... Oh, no. Oh, no. The 04 of Bush went into the inside wall, and then we've had Vernie and Martin hit each other, and coming in way too hot was Jason Fewens, and he just cleaned them up as well.
Yeah, they definitely recommend if you're going to crash into anyone, definitely don't crash into your teammate. We've seen quite a few teammates come together there. Bit unfortunate for a few of the guys, and yeah, pit lane's really full there at the moment. I think that is Alex McKellar and our lead group there coming in earlier. Just heard off camera, it looks, I think there might have been another incident there.
Can't see anything on the timing screen, so possibly could have been a little bit of contact on the way into the lane. Now, if I are new to the series, compulsory that you do take a 2-tyre pit stop at some point before the final lap of the race. So you can take it on lap 1, can take it on lap 9, wouldn't be able to take it on lap 10. So you'd have to drive into the lane at the end of lap 8 at the latest. The only downfall of that is your tyres will be very, very cold to restart the race. So these guys have decided that while their rears are still a little bit cool, take the hurt early on. Try and come home strong. And it leaves us with 9 cars that have not pitted. The other thing to that is we have seen before where drivers have taken rears at the pit stop. not a smart play. We've found that out. A lot of drivers have found that out the hard way, haven't they, taking rear tyres? Not a smart move. They do not come up to 10th very well. And mix them with the hot fronts. Very, very bad combo.
Yeah, so I was just having a good look at that timing screen there. So Alex John there is, you could say, the effective race lead there, but potentially could be opening himself up into a wall of other cars a little bit further down. He's only got Cameron Cousins there, 8 seconds there up the road, so that'll be something you'll need to take into consideration. Potentially end up on the rear of, well, not lap traffic there because they're all on the same lap, but potentially with a bit of traffic there.
Yep, and Jason Fewens just hit the wall, and there's another car involved too. That's Peter Wilkinson. But both of those guys have issues. That's coming out of the dipper, and stuff like this as well could hurt that lead group too. Well, effective lead group, I should say. We'll see if we can pick up what's happened there, but that's fairly heavy damage for those guys, so we'll see if we can work out what's happened. Okay, so Fewens has just clipped the inside wall, and Peter Wilkinson's just driven straight into her, so I think he's had a little moment all on his own as well.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate there for Peter Wilkinson, having a pretty rough race. 2 of 2 there, so just on board with him now. Oh, you can see that smoke coming off there.
Oh, he just locked the rears as he saw the smoke. He just looped it when he saw the smoke. He was trying to avoid coming together with the car of Jason Fewens. You just see here Fewens, okay, through this bit, gets a little bit of a slide, and as he goes to correct it, just overcorrects it and into the wall. So I think we've all done that before.
Yeah, definitely. I've done that many a time. They're very lucky for that lead group as well to get by, because yeah, they did catch Jason Fewens through Forest Albo there, which is quite a narrow blind corner there, but Fewens thankfully sticking to the outside of the
May have
track
cost
there.
him a second or so, hasn't it? Because look at the gap that Russell Clark has got over Alex John, Alex McCullough, Ben Snell. So they definitely have lost a little bit of time, but these three here, McCullough, John, Snell, they'll be smart and work together and close that 2.4 second advantage that Russell Clark has down very, very quickly. Tim Cornt, our new leader of this race. Braden Martin second, Nathan Verney in third. I must say that Martin and Verney are lucky to have not got any damage from that incident earlier on.
Yeah, I almost thought Martin and Verney actually did. Might have clipped each other, but no damage between those two. So seeing a lot of teammates there working together, talking teammates. Sean Doyle and Dennis Hancock there in 10th and 11th there. So Sean Doyle, and well, for both of them actually, a little bit further down the line there. Oh, Ben Snell almost became a fixture on the back there of Alex John, taking potentially evasive action there. They're all trailing really close in together, so just be able to see, kind of half see just out of shot there of Russell Clark, his Milo teammate, a little bit further there. So all team orders come into play. What can Russell Clark really do to give Ben Snell his hand up? It's a Milo sandwich. That one just coming.
Milo sandwich almost sounds a little tasty. I wouldn't mind being in a Milo sandwich, I reckon. Wondering too if that incident for Fewens may have come from a little, as Fewens is stuck in the wall there trying to limp his way back to the pits. Just see him there parked on the side of the track. I'm wondering if Fewens actually had a little bit of damage from that incident the lap earlier, and that's why he's ended up having that issue. So that's something that could have potentially happened there. Not 100% sure as we complete the 4th lap of this race. Tim Cornt still leads over Braden Martin, Nathan Verney, and then Russell Clark, the lead car that has made his pit stop. Ben Snell sets the fastest lap of the race, 2:32.0.
It's actually a really good time as well. So 2nd and 3rd, Braden Martin and Nathan Verney there with the Locked On Motorsport podcast as well. So guys have been doing...
Yeah, Braden Martin and also Peter Wilkinson.
Peter Wilkinson, yeah. Yeah, awesome effort in content creation. So...
Yep, know what
Give
it's
it a
like
listen.
to try and find enough time to be able to try and get a podcast out. It's not easy to do, and to keep at it like the guys are doing at the moment is fantastic. And they've got some pretty cool things in the works going forward, which will be awesome to see the progress from them.
I was hoping I'd see their new paint tonight because I do believe that they did a.
Yeah, well, Wilkinson will have Wilkinson driving as part of the EMU team for this series. This round, but he's part of the Locked On team. So I think we will see a new paint from him next round. And good to see him still going with a little bit of damage too. He's just lost the front end of the nose cone. No need to pit for that. Good to see. Cameron Cousins had a little bit of damage as he came in, and Stafford Marsland also coming in now too. Remember, he had an issue. So it looks like he might have a flat tyre there too. He's got missing some part of the front nose. So we back up the front. Tim Corn has got a 3.5 second lead over Braden Martin. Martin's extending the gap back to Verney. The gap that is important at the moment though is this one. Ben Snell to Russell Clark, 1.8 seconds now. So this group of 3 working together as a tandem group, pulling away from Chastanuff behind, closing in on Russell Clark ahead.
That's right. And they're going to be almost touching that barrier there of that draft to Russell Clark there. We're just seeing one of Alex's there up on Ben Snell. So just sitting in for the moment. They did pit really early on there, so there's still quite a way to go there. Just buying your time. Just as they come over the start finish straight now, we'll just see what that gap now is to Clark. It's still around that 1.8. So Russell Clark, super consistent there at the moment. Well, exactly 1.8 or 1.816 there. So not making too much of an advantage there at the moment. You can see Russell Clark is coming up on a lap car by the looks of it. So
is that Nathan Verney is actually starting to close up on? Yeah, it is. So it's Verney who's dropped a little bit further back from these guys behind. Is the gap between Alex John, who's now the last car in this train, and James Chastanuff behind is now at around about 2.5 seconds. It wasn't 1.5 seconds after the pit stop, so they are starting to break away. Gaps that are staying very, very stable. Tim Cornt back to Braden Martin. That one's staying pretty consistent. Hancock and Doyle are both trying to do this team game as well, where they're alternating positions on the straight to try and boost them up close and try and close in on Dan Hederscheid. Hederscheid, though, doing a very, very good job in 9th position at the moment, just lapping consistently. Last lap by his best lap of the race, that being a 32.8.
it's almost Hederscheid being the odd one out there. Oh, I'm sorry, and James Chastanuff as well there. So yeah, you can see almost the colours there on the left-hand side of the screen there. A lot of the teams are bunched together here at the moment on board with Russell Clark there on the back of Verney. So we'll be wanting to get by, or just Nathan Verney there clipping the inside of the wall there. So might have tipped it in a little bit too hard there. Russell Clark will make pretty easy work there of getting around.
Yeah, especially if Verney did clip that wall too, it may cause a little bit of damage. It will come back to hurt later on. And you see the pack closing in behind as well. Now they'll also be getting draft from Verney. So gap between Clark and McKellar. McKellar now leading that group. Is still around about that 1.8 second margin. Cornt continues around to complete lap number 5. We are now halfway to go.
Yeah, and we're seeing these Alex McKellar, Alex Clark, Russell Clark, sorry. Was that Alex McKellar, Ben Snell, and Alex John are all going to be rushing up there on Nathan Verney pretty quick there. You can see that gap between them is about a second or so. Oh, not a good run here for Simfinity. Daniel Hederscheid with what looks to be a blown engine there. So very unfortunate there. Was around that 8th position mark. So we'll cut to a replay there and see what's happened. But Yeah, the engine well and truly smoking there coming into the chase. Might have shifted down a gear maybe a bit too quick.
Listen to it here. Yeah, the engine definitely over revved there. He dropped it back a gear a little bit too early, and blown engine. They don't like revving too hard, these little engines. I mean, they're already revving pretty hard as it is. That's white smoke coming out the back, though, is never a good sign, as Bernie nearly hits the wall.
Yeah, we're just seeing Bernie letting these three through, so very good sportsmanship. He knows these three have a lot to race for at the moment with the championship. The championship between all three of them, but you'd have to say it's Ben Snell's almost a shoe-in, providing any kind of disaster, not wanting to put the, the curse on him. Surely we saw in race 1, a little bit of a disaster there, getting tapped on the chase.
We still finished second, though.
He did, that's right. So managed to make a good recovery out of it.
So with that, you lead dropped to the lead drop. Let me double check. Ben Snell to Alex McCullough. No, so it was 19 points between he and McCullough. He would need to DNF and finish behind guys that are already out of the race. So it is pretty much sealed up unless something bizarre happens and Ben Snell gets a penalty. But we've seen throughout this championship that Snell, Clark, McCullough, John and Chastanuff, they've all raced incredibly hard and incredibly clean every single race of this series.
That's exactly right. It's always a lot of room and a lot of respect given between these guys. No matter which team you're up against, they're all pretty fair against each other. So we're just seeing Braden Martin coming into the lane, taking his stop. But does leave. Is Tim Corns? Oh, I think both the guys there. So yeah, both Braden
Tim
Martin and
Corns
Nathan
still
Bernie.
the only driver left to make his pit stop. Yeah, that looks pretty good on your resume when you see that. Started 15th, currently first. Don't talk about not pitting yet. It still looks pretty good.
Yeah, he's just a bit of lap traffic there. I think that might have been 227 there of Isaac Summers. So Isaac having a bit of bad luck this round in race 1 and race 2. His car was pretty damaged there earlier on in this race. So good to see him back out there, getting those laps away.
100% great to see him out there. The battle for the effective race lead is well and truly on now. Ben Snell has taken it away from Russell Clark. McCullough and John, they have broken away from Chastanuff as well. They're now at 4 seconds ahead. Chastanuff back to Doyle. Of course, there was Heddershot in the middle. Is 7.5 seconds, so he will not be too worried about what's going on behind him. Heddershot has left the session. His engine will not be repaired in time. Braden Martin's come out at an interesting position as well. He's got a little bit of a fight on his hands here. We know that tyres can be cold and stay cold for quite a little while on your first lap out on the circuit, and on some circuits even into the second lap. So Scott Barton in behind him at the moment will be looking to take advantage of that potentially at Forest Elbow.
Yeah, talking about Forest Elbow, just seeing that front group coming out onto the straight there is, whoa, massive elevation change there. You can see almost clipping the inside wall there.
Actually looks like there is a little bit of damage to the front of Scott Barton's car there too, because I just noticed the front nose, like one of the clips on the left hand side isn't attached properly, so it may have clipped the wall on the left. It's caused a little bit of damage there, but he's still continuing on. We're going to go up to that effective front battle. Effective lead battle, I should say. Clark, Snell, McCullough and John, all separated by literally nothing. With 3 laps to go in this race. Tim Court will have to pit on the next lap. Guys here will know that too.
It was almost a bit of a concertina there in Murray's corner there. You can see, I think it was either Alex John or Alex McCullough. They're really hard on the brakes there. They're really keeping it in so close to each other to make the most of that draft there. But they're going to end up going potentially 3 wide up here at the top. You can see that is, I think that is Russell Clark slightly up the road there, and then you've got the 3 in behind there, all jostling for position there.
Interesting to note that that is a slow moving James Chasanoff into the pits. Now, judging by how slow he's going there, I'm going to say that the engine's gone kaput.
That attrition there, we've seen, yeah, almost 10 cars now, all off that lead lap. So James Chasanoff is going to make another one on top of that. So really high rate of attrition there. It's about 30% of the cars not being able to finish there, and you can see that lap car there, thankfully getting out of the way of this group. So almost going to be a clean run to the end now.
I can confirm it is a blown engine for James Chasson. Let me see if this works. If I played the right thing, it'd probably work better, but it's my first day. Who knows here? There goes kaboom. A little bit of smoke coming out, and engine gone. So,
yeah, almost exactly the same as Daniel Heddersholt. So through the chase there, they do go pretty aggressive back down through the gears there because it's such a hard braking zone. Oh.
You thought the same as me there through that. We both cringed. We're ready for an incident there. Now, Tim Corn's gone again. Now, I'm not the best at maths, but if he comes in at the end of the next lap, or at the end of this lap, that means that he's going to be pitting with 1 lap to go. That's a penalty, is it not?
I actually can't remember. It would shorten the lap ever so slightly, but if his pit box is past the actual control line, which it might be.
All the pit boxes are at Bathurst. They're all past the control line. So, interesting that Isaac Summers are now in this fight. He gets lapped by these guys. But yeah, all the pit boxes are past the control line at this circuit. So, that's why I was a little confused by that one.
It's a really good point, actually, yeah. Might be too much in the zone, potentially, to paying attention to what's going on.
We'll probably at this point be going, oh no, I've gone too long. Or as he's coming down Conrod Straight getting ready to pit, he's gone, no, I've gone too far into this race, but he's continuing on either way, and these guys are putting on a very, very good fight here. Interesting too that Scott Butt and Braden Martin are changing positions. It's right on cue they do again, but that's very hot from Braden Martin.
Oh,
wow.
Straddled that curb there, so just keeping it there off the wall. It's such a fast corner there. And then Skip Barber's there, so it's going to give Scott Barton the upper hand though, but could be subject to change there as they come back down Conrod Straight. Conrod Straight, really aptly named because we've seen a bunch of Conrods go there already on race 2 there of Heddersholt and Chasson.
Peter Wilkinson, even though he had that issue early on, still continuing on. Still damage on the front of his car, but he's somehow now in the 13th position just by continuing on in this race. Shows how many cars that we've had drop out from this one. There's, the Formula Skip Barber Series is claiming victims and claiming them fast as side by side Alex John, Russell Clark go, and Alex McCullough thought about threading the needle there for a second, but backed out of it at the last moment.
Yeah, they're all keeping those cards really close to their chest there. Almost through Murray's corner as well. They're going to go 2 wide, potentially 3 wide there. So Russell Clark there with the upper hand on this group there, but he's not going to hold on to it going that wide. So went really, really wide there through that bottom corner. So it's going to have probably just enough space there coming up the mountain. So it's all going to come back down, coming back down Conrod Straight and getting that run there out of Forest Elbow.
One more revolution of this 6.2 kilometre circuit in Bathurst, New South Wales. Russell Clark, Alex McCullough, Ben Snell and Alex John have been the 4 lead drivers in this championship from the 2 top teams in the championship. And they are going to fight it for the remainder of this lap. See who can take victory in the final race of the season. Ben Snell all but winning this championship now. Even if he crashes out, you would think that the championship should be his. But he won't want to win it just by finishing 4th. He'll want to win it by winning the race at the end.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty hard task for him now, being 4th wheel down. So we're going to see a little bit of strategy come into play. He's
just pushing the limits.
He's definitely going to win if he keeps clipping the wall like that. So really finding every edge of that track and then some.
They reach the peak of the mountain, coming back down. Clark still leading, but you would almost think that because he's in the lead at this point, he won't be able to hold on. Big lock up from Alex John. And will that be enough to cause a momentum shift? Because Ben Snell would have had to check up a tiny little bit as Russell Clark driving very defensively, trying to break the draft, but is going to not come of anything because Alex McCullough, all the momentum using the draft, goes around and he's already clear behind Alex John, coming back on Ben Snell into the chase for the final time of this season.
Oh no!
That's heavy contact and heavy damage to Russell Clark. Clark is out of it. He'll just limp it home, but Alex McCullough looks like he will hold on to take victory in the final race of the season. Ben Snell just going to hold on from Alex John, and Russell Clark will...
Unfortunately went straight on, yeah.
Yeah, he'll limp it home to finish in 4th. Because Sean Doyle and Dennis Hancock will finish 5th and 6th. What a race that was. Scott Barton as well having some issues throughout, but he's managed to hold off from Braden Martin. Tim Corn, not sure if he's going to get a penalty post-race, but that won't help him. As Jeremy Bush fighting with Nathan Verney, and they're going to come up on Tim Corn, who's limping home with a heap of damage. He's going to try and get out of the way. Verney thinking about going up the inside, but there was just no room left there, and Jeremy Bush should hold on for 9th position. Barney tears a rotator cuff, waving that checkered flag.
Yeah, great to see so many of those little battles coming around, and quite a few scarred cars as well. I reckon we might be might be seeing a jump in order. These guys aren't letting off. Maybe they're keen to do another lap and see who's the true winner. But
keep going till they run out of fuel.
That's right. So you have to hand it to Ben Snell. Such an awesome effort this whole season. So he'll be really pumped there to get that win. Very unfortunate there for Russell Clark with that rear contact. I think it was on the back there of Alex McCullough.
Yeah,
Very
McCullough.
lucky as well not to have a really heavy accident and take both of them out there. So
Well, to take all 4 of them out, really, wasn't it? You could have seen something like we saw in that first race where all 4 drivers got taken out, but very lucky. And McCullough will be thinking that he's got away with 1-2 there with the way that damage took out Clark, but not out himself. We'll stay with these guys doing the jump, and then we'll get the results from race number 2. It's the 10th race of this championship season, round 6 of season 6.
So it is the moment that everyone's all been waiting for.
Yep, here we go.
Bit of a iRacing Bathurst tradition there, so... Oh, great work there by Ben Snell there.
He's held onto it.
Shows how dominant he is. Not only can win the championship, win races, but also launch his Skip Barber airborne as well. Can't put a foot wrong.
Definitely a man in form at the moment is Ben Snell. As we get results up on screen in just a second when it wants to play friendly. There we go. McKellar wins that race in the end from Ben Snell and Alex John. Russell Clark, as we said, held on for 4th despite that damage. Then we got Sean Doyle and Dennis Hancock 5th and 6th. Scott Barton in 7th. Braden Martin in 8th. Jeremy Bush in 9th. Good job from him. Held off from a charging Nathan Verney right at the end. Over the page to Tim Corn, who may lose a few positions depending on how that goes with his late pit stop. Crosses the line in 11th with Darren Lassou and Peter Wilkinson, the last 2 drivers on the lead lap. Then we've got Dean Russell, James Chastanoff, Stafford Marsland, Isaac Summers, Ira Felberg, Simon Dobner, and Daniel Hederscheid. The last group of drivers that we had in the race today was Cameron Cousins, Justin Howe, and Jason Fewens. What a night of racing we've seen. It's been absolutely fantastic. And we will get some driver thoughts in just a moment too, but what a race and what a night of racing it was.
Oh, it's honestly bringing back memories of, I remember seeing the old Formula, I think it was either the Formula V's or Formula Fords there on Bathurst morning there when they always do an open wheeler race, and it's always so exciting. Always looks so right seeing the little wing open wheelers around. So yeah, brought back some great memories.
100%. And someone that'll look back fondly at the final race of this season will be Alex McKellar. Congratulations on picking up that win in that last race, but there's a little bit of a scary moment at the end there with Russell.
Yeah, it was, mate. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, it was. It was a great, fun night out, honestly. Racing with your mates, toe-to-toe, side-by-side throughout, just having a good time. No better way to finish the season, honestly. It didn't matter if you were 1st or 5th or whatever it was. It was good racing, clean racing, and any of the contact or anything that was incidental to the spirit of it. So it was a lot of fun.
Talk us through the little games that you had to play, you're forced to play, to close that gap back down, because Russell was just breaking away there at the front after his pit stop. But you sort of had to work together to catch him, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting, actually. Pitting early is a good way to try and manage those tyres. But it's the second time it's happened this season where Russell, happened in the first round, he pitted a lap later and came out significantly in front. And of course, Russell here's got really good pace. And so chasing him down had to be a team effort, if I'm honest. It's his strongest track, and he does really well here. So, you know, we put team rivalries aside for a minute for the sake of trying to fight for the win instead of the scraps.
Of course, it ends this championship season. You know, I'm 95% sure you'll pick up P2 in the championship, as I'm just looking at the results now. It looks like you will be P2. Will we see you back for next season to try and pit Ben Snell? As a little bit of an interesting schedule for next one.
Yeah, absolutely. First full season at Ozicar for me. I tried a little bit earlier, but couldn't make the full season. Enjoyed it thoroughly, and you know, Ben's a good mate. And gee, can I just really shout him out this season? He's been really quite committed to this by Ben's standards in terms of practice, and it really shows that the speed that he's got, when combined with consistency, brings good results. And full credit to him for taking it out. And mate, if I could come back next season and have a full crack at him again, looking forward to it immensely.
Well, congratulations on a great result to finish off the season. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, yourselves putting on the broadcast, of course. Ira and his team for putting on a really strong competition here. Seems to be going from strength to strength, actually. For my teammate, the good doctor, AJ, who's again come out and put on a strong season. I think we might have stitched up second in the series for the teams as well, which is great. And for the rivalry in Team Milo, those boys are great fun to race with, and look forward to doing it again next season.
There is Alex McKellar, P2 in the championship and winner of the final race of the night. We will grab our championship winner next. Congratulations to Ben Snell, championship winner. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good, I reckon. I get to get that trophy that Russell hasn't got yet.
You just wanted to rub that one in too, didn't you? But talk us through the night. It didn't go 100% smooth. There was a fair bit going on there. I actually click on the right graphic there. There's a fair bit going on tonight, wasn't there? In that little group that you had, there's a little bit of bumping and barging, and then that contact at the end there, which almost brought about a bigger incident. But thankfully for all of you, I think even Russell would agree that he was the only one that really got hurt by it.
Yeah. there was some interesting stuff. It's one of those things. It's Bathurst in a skippy, so as long as you're in that lead pack and you're just staying safe, that's the main thing. And then the racing happens in the last 2 laps where everyone starts actually trying to jostle for where they want to be in the pack. I really didn't want to be last coming into that last straight, or that last race, but in that pack anyway, in 4th. I reckon 3rd or 2nd was the optimum spot, but thankfully for me, there was a little bit of how you go on action going on, and I managed to sneak through and get a P2. A win would have been nice to wrap it up, but yeah, it was definitely enough to win the championship, so I can't complain with that.
It's been a pretty good championship all around. I think with the worst result you've had a 4th or a 5th of the whole season, so it's been pretty dominant. But talk us through the night of racing from your perspective. How did you find it, and what was the strategy and the thinking around when you pitted?
It was pit early. Bathurst is a big enough track that you don't have to worry about traffic, which is really the only time you think about pitting any time other than right at the start is if you're worried about traffic and getting through some cars, whereas Bathurst is pretty easy. You got some nice big straights, even over the top if someone's polite. Like I think it was Vernie had a bit of damage when we caught him, but he hadn't pitted yet, but he just let us through, which was nice. But yeah, I just rolled around, did the laps, got there to the end. It's almost like a mini endurance race. All you want to do is do your laps, be in contention at the end of the race, and then have your fight on the last lap.
That's a little incident that you just mentioned there with Vernie. Did that possibly cost you that gap and that you had to find some pace to work back, or was it just that extra lap that Russell had with the warmer tyres that got you, that broke that gap at the start that you guys had to work really hard to close back up again?
The gap at the start was because Alex and I all just tripped over each other's feet coming out of the pits. And we had a very, very sloppy outlap, which gave Russell that 3.5 odd second gap. And then we went, oh, okay, we've got to knuckle down and work together and get going again and slowly bring that gap in. But Nathan actually helped us bridge the gap because Russell passed him, and then Nathan hung on to him enough that he was drafting Russell, and then we got a bit of draft on Nathan, and then Nathan just stepped aside and let us through. So if anything, Nathan helped us bridge the gap to Russell.
Overall, it's been a fantastic championship. Who would you like to thank for helping you get this victory?
Of course, massive shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's a great one to watch. And Ira and all the Ozicar crew, they really have a good thing going here. And there's a really good group of guys that are running around. It's not just the guys at the front, it's the guys throughout the whole field. Everyone's having great racing and enjoying themselves. And that's the main thing. And it's the reason why Ira keeps all these people around, because if you have a poorly run season, of course the guys at the front are going to stick around, but the guys towards the back are your staple, and that's what keeps the series going. So yeah, a massive shout out to Ira, and of course a massive shout out to Russell. And you get to actually have a chat with him, so that's nice. I like Russell's interview voice.
Yeah, we'll grab Russell for a quick chat, but congratulations, Ben, on championship victory. We'll quickly talk to Russell Clark for a quick moment. Russell, talk us through that last corner, because that didn't quite go as nicely as you would have planned there.
Yeah, that wasn't quite what I was intending. Yeah, after that contact with Alex in the chase, my steering was just shot. It just wouldn't work in the last corner. But it didn't cost me a position, so whatever.
And the good news is I didn't actually catch you hitting the wall live, so I missed it.
Would have been really entertaining, though, I'm sure.
I'm sure it would have been, but you know.
Got a replay of it, at least.
Look, I'll see what I can queue up. I'll send put a slow-mo up on Facebook or something. But talk us through the night. It didn't quite go too good after that first qualifying, because I mean you started on pole for race 1, but after that it sort of went downhill a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. Just kind of got hung out in all the wrong places and lost touch with the leaders. The too wide action over the top of the mountain with the 2 guys in front of me didn't help. After that, it was basically, just tell the other guys to enjoy their podium and see what I could manage behind them.
Yeah, overall for the championship and the season as a whole, it hasn't been too bad of a championship. I mean, looks like you've cleaned up the team's title and a very, very solid championship result for you. Is that the aim if you couldn't win the championship individually to make sure you secure the team's title as well?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to finally get that. We've tried about 4 times now and only finished second or third or fourth due to miscellaneous problems. So yeah, it's good to have a teammate who put in a uncharacteristically consistent performance over the season.
Well, congratulations on a great championship. P3 in the end, by the looks of it. You will finish ahead of James Chastanoff in the championship, so well done on that. Anyone that you would like to thank for your third overall in the championship and team's championship win?
Obviously, Ben for doing all the talented work, and yeah, all everyone that was involved in putting this on, Simspeed, Ira, etc., and Ben says hi.
Thank you to Russell Clark, and we'll grab, lastly, before we finish up, Ira Felberg. Ira, what a fantastic season it has been, and we're looking forward to Season 7, but Season 6 has been an absolute whirlwind. Talk us through your thoughts.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I just talking to Ben and Russell in the other room there while waiting, and yeah, I was just saying how, yeah, we're all just saying that, how good it's been, and you know, look, I was actually the first race there tonight. I thought, oh, geez, this is a bit quiet. But then the second race obviously took care of things at Bathurst. And look, no one likes crashes or anything. But yeah, the racing's been it's been really good, and I'm super lucky to have a bunch of drivers that I do. And I just, you know, not only is everybody seems to be coming back, but they're bringing someone with them. And I've had plenty of interest, a lot of messages. They don't always convert over, but yeah, it's looking good. I'm really looking forward. I know I keep saying it, but I reckon we probably just had the best season, and I'm really looking forward to 7. Possibly, depending on your opinion, some of the best tracks we've had for sure. The racing's definitely going to be mixed up a little bit, especially with the little changes. 5-minute quali second race, that's going to, you know, cause someone headaches one day. And look, it doesn't matter mixing the grid up too much in a half-hour race, but the other thing is the half hour brings it right on the limit for the fuel. So do you start heavy or do you top up? And at some point someone will run out or have to draft. So yeah, it should mix it up. It'll be quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, 100%. The changes that we have got for next season will be, as you said, a shorter second qualifying, which will be reduced down to 5 minutes, which means that everyone will only get 1 lap at most circuits, and a longer second race, which will still have the pit stop included. Yeah, I think it should mix up the results a little bit, especially for qualifying. But the other part of it is that most of the circuits we go to will actually be running 2 different layouts on the same night.
Yeah, what did you guys think about that? Am I crazy or what?
Look, you are crazy, but we knew that a long time ago.
This is true. Well, a couple of things. You got to mix it up. You got to keep it interesting. I had the idea a while ago, and I did some testing in the 3 weeks that we had off. And actually, the short track stuff, you wouldn't want to do them all the time, but it's actually good. It definitely keeps the racing closer. And yeah, I'd sort of thought about the idea because, you know, I make a list of all the tracks at the start. We're up to Season 6 already. Like, I'm trying to balance it between free content but also paid stuff, but not repeat too much, if you know what I mean, because no one wants to rock up and do the same stuff all the time. And the oval thing I've been thinking about for a long time, mainly because it's a bit like Indy Lights in a way, like short track oval, and you'll be surprised, I reckon, what that'll bring to the championship. I think you'll still see a few like other regular names up there, but I guarantee you there's a few other names that aren't normally up there that will be, because it's a totally different ball game. And you know, I'm looking to challenge the drivers too, you know, and you know, adding an oval I think is just like another thing that they can add to their skill set. And some of the ovals, like the sort of 0.7 mile up to about a mile in these cars, you can actually race AI on there, and you can sit in 4th gear, and they're actually quite fun, really fun tracks. Like yeah, it's going to be tight, but yeah, I think it'll add another good element to it. So I'm really looking forward to it, and the drivers seem excited, so that's always a good indicator.
Yeah, well, congratulations on another great season, and we will let you go because we have to wrap it up, but thank you once again for another fantastic season.
Yeah, and just want to quickly thank you guys, obviously, for making us look good every week, and Simfinity and Prestige Trophy and Badge, just thanks everyone for their support. It's been awesome. I couldn't tell you how much fun I have running around the back. Thank you.
So that ends Season 6. Season 7, we'll kick off straight into it next week. We head to Indianapolis for races 1 and 2 of Season 7. Race 1 around the road course, Race 2 around the moto course. So 2 different circuits at the same track on the same night, which will make it very, very tough for the drivers. But until then, we thank you very, very much for watching the Season 6 of the Ozicar Skip Barber Series. As Ira just mentioned, big thanks to Simfinity and Prestige Badge, Trophy and Engraving. And we will be back in a few minutes' time with the next broadcast, which will be the ODSE 360 Power Series. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got really outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up top. Oh my God! Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh no! That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?